You're listening to Strange by Nature, your guide to the strange, weird, unbelievable, and improbable wonders of the natural world.
Hello, everyone, and thanks for being here today. I'm Kirk Mona, and joining me are Rachel Gimza and Victoria Thompson. We're all naturalists who together have scoured the world for weird and wonderful wonders, just to please your mammalian brain's desire for novelty. Isn't that nice? Let's do this. Hey, everyone, welcome to the show. Oh my. We are finally here. We are recording.
Yay!
There's nowhere else I'd rather be right now.
I love being here.
Not at all.
I mean, sometimes asleep, but I like talking with both of you more.
Absolutely. Well, I'll tell you what, we are now very much well into the month of Halloween. That greatest of holidays. So I wanted to talk about one of the symbols of Halloween this week, the humble black cat. How's that sound?
Ooh, I'm intrigued.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Continue. Where is this
What
going?
is
see
weird
them?
about black cats?
Well, I mean, this
Not a whole lot. I just want to talk about them. Here's the thing. We see them everywhere in decorations. They could be riding on a witch's broomstick. They could be standing proudly in front of a full moon. They could be arched up and hissing in front of a bright orange pumpkin. These classic... Yeah,
there it is.
Exactly.
I literally have a
it
cat
comes to mind.
scratcher of a cat scratcher box thing for my cats that is a pumpkin. It has a black cat over the pumpkin.
Yeah, I think everyone can picture these sort of classic images. They're burned into our brains. I know they're burned into mine. Hopefully some of our listeners as well. Let me ask you a question to start things off, though. Do you think black cats are good luck or bad luck? Or are thought of as good luck or bad luck? Not maybe you personally, but...
Okay. I think generally, my understanding is that they are thought of as bad luck, which there is some, people really buy into that. Like, I know in shelters, especially, black cats tend to not be adopted as often.
Sure.
Yeah.
After Black Panther, that went up more. People were adopting them more.
I heard that, yeah.
But
I
think
that's also true for black dogs, and that it may also be partly due to the fact that they don't tend to photograph as well.
Absolutely. Now, I guess
void,
where I grew up, black cats were always viewed as bad luck, especially if a black cat crossed your path, it was considered bad luck.
Right.
Now, I don't think anyone took this particularly seriously.
Hopefully not.
It was, I'd say, taken more seriously than stepping on a crack and breaking your mama's back.
Right.
But less serious than walking under a ladder or breaking a mirror, as far as the luck department went.
I'm not
Is that fair
overly
assessment?
superstitious. Yeah, as someone, I don't really care about black cats or the cracks or anything, but I definitely do try to avoid going underneath a ladder. More practical
just seems
reasons than
common
the best.
This is dangerous. Yeah.
It doesn't seem safe most of
That
the
would
time
actually make
anyway,
sense.
but
Yeah.
yeah.
I think, I'd maybe put it on par with opening an umbrella inside. In other words, it wasn't taken very seriously at all, except that it was one of those things that kids and probably parents kind of passed along, they say a black cat crossing your path is bad luck.
Right.
I don't have any memory of where I heard that, but it was certainly a thing I heard growing up.
Sure, me
right?
too.
Yeah, definitely.
Now, we don't have any cats in our house now. We are firmly a dog family. I enjoy that they usually don't defecate inside my house like cats do. They also don't infect me with toxoplasmosis.
Well,
so that's two strikes against cats right there. But there was a time.
Have a cat.
There was a time we actually had two cats. Simon was my wife's cat, and I adopted an all-black stray named Jax, who appeared out of the forest at my work one day. And he was
that is the cat adoption system running for you. You got adopted, Kirk.
That's true. He was a fantastic cat. I do and he was all black, like I said, and I really do like black cats. If I ever got another cat, it would absolutely be an all black cat, for sure.
I think they look super cool.
They're
so very,
cool.
very cool.
That's what our next cat is going to be, is an all black cat.
You started to hint at some of the stuff here about how, black cats are harder to get adopted. Supposedly, there's rumors that they're killed at higher rates in shelters because no one wants them. I will say the data on that is hard to verify, and it seems like there's differing opinions on that. But I did find at least one organization, which was Cats Protection in the UK, that did verify by their own data that black cats get adopted at a slower rate than all the other different amazing colors and patterns they come in. Interestingly, also the RSPCA says that 70% of abandoned cats are black, but they don't attribute it to being bad luck, but rather to something that Victoria mentioned, which is that they're really hard to take a photo of. And so partially this could be the fact that a lot of people are obsessed with taking photos and videos of cats and posting them online. And like, you just can't do that as much with a black cat.
Yeah.
But I think also, as Victoria, I think you were pointing out, they're much harder to photograph. And so many people now essentially pick out pets online, which seems kind of crazy. But like, if you're looking for a pet, they put photos of all the pets online now. And it is much harder to appreciate a black cat if they're difficult to photograph. You know, you just don't see all their features and whatnot.
Right.
So when I started digging into the topic of black cats, one of the things that surprised me is that around the world, black cats are almost universally, or perhaps I should say globally, since, you know, as far as I know, cats are only on Earth. So globally, cats are seen as, black cats are seen as a good luck symbol, which is the opposite of what I learned. Now, it's not completely global. It kind of depends on where you're from. This is not an exhaustive database of which countries view black cats one way or the other, but I did find that they are seen as good luck in Wales, Scotland, Japan, Russia, Italy, and most of Northern Europe, also Egypt and parts of Asia. Black cats are like a very good thing, good luck. And generally in most areas, they're seen as symbols of prosperity, good luck, and protection.
Aww.
Which is really interesting.
Well, isn't that nice?
For example, a black cat crossing your path in Scotland can signify wealth, and in Japan, they are a traditional symbol of good fortune. And there is some distinction in some areas between like a stray black cat that might be seen as a trickster, but like owning a black cat is seen as good luck. So there's some subtleties to this. Apparently, black cats were the preferred good luck color of mouser cats that were brought along on sea voyages.
Okay.
In a lot of places. So you definitely want to have a mouse on board, or not you want to have
a mouse? That sounds like a lot of fun.
You want a cat on board to keep the mice at bay, or even rats and things on ships.
You're going to have
wreak a lot of havoc.
Mice and rats whether you want them or not.
Right.
Yeah, so you definitely want to have I keep saying that. You definitely want to have a cat on board to take care of those. And apparently black cats were like the preferred color on a lot of these old sailing ships.
Okay.
And then because of that, apparently a lot of wives of sailors would also then keep a black cat at home, thinking that some of their luck or maybe the magic of the black cat would somehow keep their loved one safe at sea if they also had a black cat at home, which is really sweet. I think it's perhaps by, this association with magic or with shadows and by proxy witches that makes black cats a symbol of Halloween. And it may have been the Puritans who came to America who brought the idea that black cats are associated with witchcraft and evil. And that might be where some of the, the bad luck kind of idea comes from. Black cats are considered bad luck in parts of Central Europe as well. So it could also be that like Polish or German immigrants brought their black cat biases and folklore with them here to America as well. That could be where some of our like idea of the bad luck kind of thing came from.
Okay.
So why do we even have black cats? Like, why is that a thing? There aren't just black domestic cats. There are also large black cats in the wild as well.
Yes.
So yeah, there can be both black leopards and black jaguars, and as you just mentioned, Rachel, sometimes called black panthers. In one sense, there really isn't such an animal as a black panther, as panther is just a generic term for big cat.
Right.
The term itself is really confusing, as it can actually refer to any cat in the genus Panthera, which includes lions, tigers, jaguars, and leopards. But historically, it isn't used for lions and tigers. It's really just leopards and jaguars that are called black panthers when they are black. So incidentally, since we're talking word origins here, I want to go off on a little rant, okay?
Oh, good.
You want to know what really drives me crazy?
Yeah.
leopard. Literally the word leopard drives me crazy because it's leopard. Okay, there's two parts of Leo and pard.
Right.
Leo means, anyone know what Leo means?
There's little
Lion.
yeah.
Okay. Well then, okay, but what does pard mean?
Pard?
That's not a word that you hear people use, right?
Partner?
Pard?
No.
Yeah, so pard is actually a Greek word that means leopard. So the word leopard means lion leopard.
That's goofy.
Just a big hint
love
to the world
language.
here. You can drop the Leo part. It's completely unnecessary. We already have a word for leopard. It's pard.
Just call it a
would be
pard.
like,
It's
yeah,
too
it'd
late.
be like if the original word
It's
was
too late,
leopard.
Kirk. It's too late.
I know, but it's like if the original word was just leopard in Greek and someone saw one and was like, hey, Gary, you know what we should call that leopard? And Gary was like, leopard? He's like, no, we can't just call it leopard. We have a word for that already. It's like, no. That'd be lame. Let's call it lion leopard instead. Because it's fun to be confusing with our language, right?
Mm-hmm.
So anyways, that has
Hey,
nothing to do with black
Kirk,
cats.
I mean, that's why we call chai tea. Tea.
Right.
It's the same kind of thing.
We do dumb things sometimes.
There's lots of that kind of stuff.
Speaking of dumb thing, I won't even mention that at one time giraffes were named camelopards.
Oh,
That's
yeah,
right.
I've heard that one before.
Camel lion leopards. Anyhow,
So good.
now that we've cleared that up, it is estimated that about 11% of all wild leopards are black. And what's interesting about that is that they tend to be found more, that 11% distribution is not even depending on habitat.
Okay.
It's higher in areas with dense forest. And if you live in a shadowy area, being all black can actually be an effective form of camouflage.
Right.
So part of the reason that the black coloration exists is because it's good camo, and it helps them hide. One of my dogs is essentially all black. It's got a little bit of some, it's got a tuxedo kind of print on him, but mostly his back and everything's all black, down from the side. And I can tell you that when he goes out into my shady yard, even during the middle of the day, he essentially disappears into the foliage. And I don't have a huge yard, but he is just invisible anytime he's outside. If there's any vegetation, he just becomes a shadow. And so it is a very, very effective form of camouflage. So you can see why this would, promulgate through the genes and exist as a thing. Black cats, both in big cats and domestic cats, is caused by genes. In house cats, black cats are actually tabby patterned, technically, but their genes suppress the tabby pattern while also increasing melanin, which makes their fur black. And in the right light, like a bright sunlight, you can sometimes still see the tabby pattern. And this is actually true of black panthers as well. If you see a black jaguar or a black leopard in bright sunlight, you can still sometimes see their spots, which is pretty cool.
That is cool.
So incidentally, that high level of melanin in their body also gives most black cats golden colored eyes, which happen to look very cool with the black fur. So look, I just want to talk about black cats. They may not be all that strange, but they are certainly mysterious. And I want to give them a big shout out here on the show because they are awesome. By the way, Black Cat Appreciation Day is August 17th. So mark your calendars for next year. If you missed it, have no fear. I think we can just say that Halloween can also be the unofficial Black Cat celebration
Seems
day.
like a missed opportunity to have that day in August.
It really does.
Right?
I think,
They didn't
I
want
don't
to
know
compete
why
with Halloween.
they did it August. Yeah, maybe.
Halloween is too big.
There are some rumors that some places, shelters, won't adopt out black cats around in October, either because they're afraid people are gonna use them in
People
some kind of
return them.
satanic ritual, which is the one
Jeez.
burnt during the big satanic panic in the 80s. That was a thing. And the other one could be that they're just afraid people will get them because I think it's a fun Halloween thing and then get bored of them and return them.
Right.
But a lot of places, apparently, from what I understand, they'll adopt a black cat out anytime because it's, most people who are looking for a cat actually want a cat. Speaking of, if you have a black cat, send us a photo. We would love to
pictures.
see your black.
Yay.
I would
Yes,
never say
send
no
us
to cat
cat
pictures,
pictures.
especially a black cat picture. Maybe we'll share it on our social media channels if people send us their black cats for Halloween. So that's what I got.
Yes, please do so.
Yeah.
We love cat pictures because
we're gonna take a
we
quick
are on
break.
the internet.
Yeah, exactly. We're going to take a quick break, and when we're back, it will be Rachel. And I'll remind you, now's a good time to remind you, I haven't said in a while, if the ads are annoying, our patrons get all episodes ad-free. So come join us over on patreon.com/strangebynature, and we'll see you there. Otherwise, enjoy the ads. Bye.
All right, welcome back, everyone. This week, I think this is decently strange. It's something that we will probably go into more depth with at some point in the future, because it's a little bit of a bigger topic. But
oh wow,
so
okay.
I don't know if either of you have heard of this. I'm not surprised that this came across my dashboard more than anything because it tracks with some of my interests. So there's been a bigger practice happening around mostly like coral reefs, some coral reefs, but also within kelp forests.
Okay.
Since there has been, especially in recent years, about the last 10 years especially, there's been an overpopulation problem happening within the kelp forests.
Okay.
What's happening is kind of a two-part problem. A lot of ecosystems that we teach and learn about as naturalists are a delicate balance, and nature has a way to be able to find its way back to that kind of equilibrium that we tend to think of with nature, even though nature doesn't really want to be in an equilibrium. It's a whole thing.
It's a little chaotic, yeah.
It really is. But what's happening to kelp forests is a two-part problem. One part of it is the oceans are warming, and there's some acidification happening, and with the warming is causing there to be less nutrients within the water, which is causing the kelp to not be able to survive as well within the forest. The other part is human impact, and well, I guess there's two parts of this. So what's happening to the kelp is partially it's struggling to grow, and the other part is there are some predators that live in the kelp forests that are not doing as well and can't help with the overpopulation problem that is happening. One of which is sea otters. They are being directly impacted by humans, so they aren't as prevalent as they used to be. And then the other is a type of sea star, which is endangered but is currently going through somewhat of a pandemic of its own. And so it has a disease that's happening through the population currently, and is causing their numbers to decrease pretty significantly.
Wow.
So what's happening? What is this overpopulation?
What is going on? Yeah.
So what's happening is there is an overabundance of, in this particular case, purple sea urchins.
Yes, I think I've heard about this.
Yes.
Okay.
So purple sea urchins are normal in that ecosystem. They are a normal part of it. The sea stars are actually a predator, so are the sea otters. They are both able to crack open the hard exoskeleton and thus eat the sea urchin and have a delicious meal out of it. But more recently, because it's overpopulating that space, what's happening is there are other species that aren't doing as well, that are more desirable. So some divers out of Fort Bragg, to help their livelihoods as well as the kelp forests in particular, started collecting and in some cases breaking open the purple sea urchins that are covering that sea floor. purple sea urchins.
You can get some money for that at sushi restaurants, right?
Yes, you can. And so they are like collecting them for that, but they are less desirable species for when it comes to urchin. So they're not as desirable, and some of those species that are desirable are being impacted by the urchin species, by the purple sea urchin. But these are doing especially well. But reason why I was kind of touching base about them, they are eating the kelp that is coming up, so it's depleting the habitat much faster. They were looking at California, and since 2014, the kelp forest has dropped 95%.
Oh my gosh.
Whoa.
So pretty significantly. So anything we can do to help to give the kelp a little bit more of a leg up is pretty important.
Wow.
Yeah. That's significant. Yeah. But hey, the reason why I brought all this up was because today...
Just to bum us out.
No. Not today. I wanted to bring this up because I actually wanted to talk about sea urchins. What a wild creature. Okay?
Spiky.
Yeah.
They're very spiky. So sea urchins are echinoderms. They're in the same family as sand dollars, sea sponges, and sea stars, which is really cool. There are somewhere around 950 species of sea urchins out there, and they can vary in habitat going anywhere from 400 to 5,000 feet deep within the sea bed, which is pretty wild. And generally they like a rocky bottom. They like things that they can climb and cling to for sense. Particular reasons. And I would like to say sea urchins, though they resemble rocks, are animals. I always, it took me a long time to figure out, there are some things that I'm like, I'm sorry, this is an animal? This is one of those things.
Now, when you say a long time, Rachel, I got to ask, was this this wasn't recent, yes? This was when you were a child?
So not sea urchins. When I was a child, yes. Sea urchins, I've known were an animal for a long time. I think there was something else more recently. I was like, wait, what? Do I remember what this is? No, of course not.
No. All right.
But
good to know.
Anyway, yeah, wild. So there are about 950 species, and generally speaking, they span anywhere from 3 to 10 centimeters across. In American, that's 1 to 4 inches. And that's more generally. So some of them get much bigger than that, which is pretty nuts. And I'm sure we'll do a deep dive on a species or two in the future. Generally, a sea urchin looks like a rock with a bunch of spikes going out of it. Think of is it a mace or a medieval torture device? Just a big ball with a bunch of spikes coming out of it. It looks like it would hurt.
A sea
and
hedgehog.
It does. Sea hedgehog.
Well, here's the thing, Rachel. If it's a spike on the end of a club, it's a mace. If it's hanging from a chain at the end of a club, it's a morning star.
Okay.
This is the things I learned growing up with someone who now works in the role-playing game industry. So
See, Kirk,
how
I knew you
things.
would know the distinction between the two of them. That's why I made that joke. So thank you.
Perfect. You're welcome.
So
I blame my brother.
You should. So sea urchins in general, so they have a hard exoskeleton, and generally they don't really look like much, but they are pretty wild when it comes to what they are. So depending on the species, and some of them don't look like round little rocks either. Some of them actually have really unique shapes to them, and some are really flat and actually burrow into the sand and things. It really depends on the species. More deep sea sea urchins actually have really wild shapes that do not look like what you would expect.
I always sort of live in fear of stepping on one.
Oh,
you should.
That'd be really bad.
Yeah.
You really, really should. Also, I'm sorry.
Sounds awful.
I misspoke earlier. I said 5,000 feet. I meant 5,000 meters.
Oh, that's a lot deeper.
Yeah.
Yep.
I got
a
my
lot.
units mixed up. So for everybody else, that's 16,000 feet. So they can be found anywhere in like tide pools all the way down to 16,000 feet. So
a long way down.
that is pretty deep. So generally, they have this hard shell. They are a species where they have an exoskeleton. This hard shell is called a test. And that is what they use to kind of crawl around and like protect themselves. They have, very similar to sea stars, they have little tube feet that stick out on the bottom that they use to crawl across the floor with. You know, you mentioned, Kirk, that you don't want to step on one and living in fear. You don't want to step on one.
No.
For a couple of reasons. One of which is those spikes do really, really hurt.
Right through the foot, I gotta imagine.
I'm wincing just thinking about it.
Yeah. So those are spines, and they are there to protect the organism from being eaten. They are very, very, very sharp. And in some cases, I'm sorry to tell you, they are venomous. So you don't
correct.
want to step
Another reason
on
you don't
a
want
sea
to.
urchin. Now, not all of them are. A number of them, in fact, are not. Most of them are not.
Okay.
But
So you're just impaling
Still
yourself.
give you a
and-
nasty
you're just
infection.
it would give you it would hurt. Now, the
Yeah.
spines themselves are actually, they're made of like calcium carbonate. So that is their it's not an exoskeleton, it's an endoskeleton, and it almost covers the entire animal, and it just like covers them and like protects them. They don't molt.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because of that, it's not a true exoskeleton. They don't molt. It just, the plates that are fused together to create that endoskeleton is, they just grow with the sea urchin as it goes.
Whoa. Okay. Very cool.
Yeah. They don't have brains, which I feel like is really important to note. A lot of animals on that kind of level don't have traditional brains. So those generally, what happens is they prey upon a variety of things. Some will prey on plants that are around, and will just move around with their little tube feet until they find a plant like a kelp to eat, and they will just then bring the food to their my gosh, what is it called?
Mouth?
It is a mouth, but it isn't. It's like, it's very similar to a sponge. It's just an opening that they are able to,
Stoma.
like, a stoma that they're able to bring into their kind of mouth. They do kind of have a mouth. It's just very small. And they'll bring the food into that space, and they'll digest that, and then it goes back out where it came in. Very similar to a sea sponge. Yeah. They are able to grasp, pull, and tear with their mouth, which is horrifying. You wouldn't expect that. They use modified feet to be able to use as kind of like teeth, but not teeth, and to pull in food. Depending on the species, depends on what they particularly eat. But yeah, urchins are a little insane, and we'll have to go into another deep dive about them. Flower urchins in particular are really deadly. They look like flowers. They look really pretty. They don't have like really spiky looking things. However, they are they're found in the Indo-Pacific, and I should say sea urchins are found in every single ocean. Yeah, they are extremely dangerous, to the point
How so?
where, well, it can kill you.
Oh, okay.
Okay. Like
Yeah,
me in
the-
particular? Okay, I'll avoid that.
Yeah. So what happens is they're like tube feet. They have some like fang like tip in their flower,
No.
and they're like in that test, the outer part of their endoskeleton, instead of like
Okay.
pokes and spikes, they have
Yeah.
it looks like flowers, but they have each one is like ended with a little claw that allows it to like stick in and deposit a venom into you, and this
thank you.
venom so what ends up happening is it goes through depending on like touch and chemical stimuli. So if they are like brushed even, venom will be injected, which is horrifying.
No, thank you.
Nope. I'm out. I'm out.
No.
Never going to the ocean again.
so-
You did it, Rachel. That's it. That's the final straw.
You're welcome.
I'm out of the ocean.
What they use is something called contractin A, is one of the 2 active compounds, and it pretty much interferes.
That sure sounds like something that stops your heart.
Well, it interferes with the transmission of signals at nerve endings, and it also causes the clumping of red blood cells.
Oh, good. As if the first one wasn't enough, we're also going to clump all your red blood cells.
Well, that's one compound. The other one is a protein toxin called
great.
peditoxin, and pretty much it lowers your body temperature, causes relaxation and like muscle relaxation, and if you get too high of a dose, it will cause you to have like convulsions and die.
Not good.
No, not good. So
okay, good clarification there.
Yeah, so it really depends. It's apparently because there was a man in 1930, a marine biologist named Susumu Fujiwara. He accidentally picked up a flower urchin, and apparently immediately he felt severe pain, and he could feel the toxin going through his blood towards his heart, and he was experiencing some paralysis and relaxation of the muscles. After about 15 minutes, apparently the pains and such went away, and after an hour he was more or less okay, but the facial paralysis continued for 6 hours.
Well, that sounds deeply unpleasant.
And he was stung
Again,
7
I'm
or
gonna
8
pass.
times.
What?
So he was stung like 7 or 8 times. It is known as
Wait, hold on.
You mean
This guy had this happen like multiple 7 different times, or by picking it up he got stung 7 times by the one?
He picked it up
person?
and got stung 7 to 8 times by the same
Okay,
person.
okay. Good clarification. I appreciate that.
Yes. Guinness World Records has named this the most dangerous sea urchin in the world. So,
Okay.
Oof.
yeah. Apparently, though,
Hard pass.
it is
They're beautiful.
delicious.
Oh,
Good.
Yeah.
Okay.
So if you do it carefully, apparently they are delicious. Yeah. So there's a lot to go on and talk about when it comes to sea urchins, and I've talked about quite a bit. We'll probably do another deep dive on particular species, but I just want to talk a little bit about sea urchins. It's wild, y'all. It's wild. So I already did it to Kirk. Be careful when you step into the ocean. Maybe don't touch a sea urchin unless you know what it is. Take pictures. Leave no
I'm
trace.
just not ever stepping in the ocean. Problem solved.
Yeah.
There you go, Kirk. My sources this week were an NPR article by Lauren Sumner, Wikipedia, Monterey Bay Aquarium, the Australian Natural History Museum was especially helpful, as well as the Guinness Book of World Records, actually.
There you go.
Why not?
All right, we're going to take a quick break, and when we return, it'll be Victoria.
Hey, we're back. Y'all, beetles are incredible.
Yeah,
Here is
they are.
a mind-boggling fact. I can't remember if we've highlighted this on the show before, but there are nearly 400,000 known species of beetle.
Oh, yeah.
And just for a little
Amazing.
perspective, that's just the ones that have been named by science. And that accounts for about 38% of all named species of insects. And get this.
It's a beetle planet.
It's a beetle planet. 32% of all named arthropod species. So that includes also, spiders, sea spiders, crustaceans, millipedes, centipedes, all of those things.
Yay.
There are a lot of beetles.
There are a lot
Sure
of
are.
beetles.
As I was researching this this episode, I did come across the line, to the best approximation, all animals are insects, which is pretty true. And, a lot of those are beetles.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
On
Speaking
average,
of
yeah.
number of
Yeah.
species. Anyway, within the beetles, there is one group that accounts for the largest share, nearly 67,000 named species. So, of course, you all are very familiar with the Rove beetles, right? No?
I've heard of Rove Beetles, yeah.
Um.
I wouldn't say I'm very familiar with them.
Family Staphylinidae. No, I'd never heard of them either.
Nope.
That's okay.
Nope. That's out of my range of things. So, what you
I
got?
can tell you one thing about Rove Beetles.
Yes.
They're called Rove Beetles. That's the extent of
There
my
you
knowledge.
go.
So.
There it is.
You're about to learn a little more. They are,
Sweet.
of course, a large family, so, pretty diverse, but they do tend to have very short elytra, which is the shiny wing covers that beetles have.
Yeah.
Okay.
Back.
Yeah.
So their abdomens are exposed in a non-beetle-like fashion.
Huh.
So if you think about like a ladybug
Oh, yeah.
or firefly, which are
The-
beetles,
they're-
despite the name, they have that nice, shiny, smooth back
Yeah,
with
yeah.
the line down the middle. Yeah. You with Rove beetles, you see the kind of squishy abdomen.
Huh.
Real interesting.
Yeah. And their wings are
pick 'em out
folded
of
up
Coleoptera.
tiny. Yeah.
Ooh. Really? Are they still under their elytra?
Yes, they are. And apparently most of them can fly quite well, but they have to really origami their wings to fit under their short elytra.
Oh, I have seen some footage, enough of them, of that origami folding
Yes.
of insects, of like beetles under there, and it's astounding.
Huh.
So with that introduction, I want to introduce you to a species that is new to science. Found in,
Ooh.
of course, Australia.
There you go. Way to go, Australia. Keep it up.
In the Northern
ya.
Territory, to be specific, which is the least populated part of Australia.
All right. You get a pass on this front for not knowing about it.
Yes. This little beetle is named Ostrosperactha carijoi. Sure.
This rolls off the tongue,
Sure.
doesn't
Yeah.
Amazing.
This beetle is notable for carrying a termite on its back.
it? Does what now?
Well, it doesn't actually carry an actual termite on its back, more of a termite puppet.
Oh, no way.
Oh.
Yes, this beetle has evolved so that its body mimics a termite incredibly closely. Its abdomen
Love
looks
that
like a
so
termite
much.
abdomen. It's like a pale yellow kind of color, creamy.
Okay.
And this abdomen has a forward projecting appendage that sticks out, sort of like if you think about a camper van, the part that sticks out over the driver's seat.
Okay, yeah.
That looks like a termite thorax and head, complete with antennae, fake antennae. And the beetle's own little tiny head peeks out from underneath, like the driver of the camper van.
Oh,
Love this so much.
my God. I just looked up a picture. What?
Yes, Google it.
Victoria.
They're wild.
What? Hold on.
That's a beetle.
What? Which part is real? It looks like it has a different bug on top of it.
It's all real. It's all part of its body.
But
that just makes
the yellow just part of
sense.
Like their abdomen going across?
I think so. Yeah.
That's wild. How do they fly?
I don't think that they do fly. I didn't find anything about that. I think in this species, the elytra seem to be completely gone. I don't think they have any wings, from what I can tell. However, very little's known yet about this beetle because it was just discovered. Because it lives underground in termite nests among the termites.
Who would have thought?
Yeah. And
hello, fellow termite. How you doing there today?
You might think it would be there like eating termite eggs or killing termites in the side tunnels and
and eating termites. Yeah.
No, we don't think so. It has a
I haven't seen Gary. What do you mean?
Right.
Have you seen Phil anywhere?
He was just talking about leopards a minute ago, but
I was just talking to Carol the other day. Where is she? Anyway,
I just had her for lunch.
But this beetle actually has a very tiny mouth. So the scientists don't think that it's eating the termites or the eggs or the larvae or any of that. They think it just begs food off of the other termites and gets fed.
What?
Nice.
Yeah.
I mean, amazing. I love it. But also, wild way to go about it.
Well, it's normal for worker termites to feed other castes of termites. That's like part of their job. So I don't know what they're eating, plant stuff, I guess. And they chew it up and then they, put it into the other termites' mouths. And this beetle just kind of like gets in line with its bowl and holds it out and says, "Please, sir, may I have some more?"
It's a brunch skunk. Amazing.
Phenomenal.
So it's kind of a parasite, I guess, but not like that bad a parasite as far as parasites
beggar's
go.
Parasite.
Yeah, beggar parasite. It's
in the middle.
What's really wild though is that these termites live underground. They're blind.
Yeah.
They're blind, and they do feel each other with their antennae and legs and so forth. So the form of the beetle evolved to be like the form of a termite to touch, but also looks color-wise. The color looks like a termite. It's so strange. But it is, of course, also likely that they either absorb or produce the same type of chemical signals that the termites do. Because a lot of termite communication takes place through smell.
Wow.
We don't have any information about this. No concrete information because it has not been yet studied.
Sure.
Because it was just found.
To be determined.
A really amazing level of mimicry. But if you learn more about rove beetles, not totally unprecedented, actually. Because
Really?
This family is actually notable for having a lot of close associations with ants in different ways. Some exclusively feed on ants. Some live in ant colonies and just kind of eat detritus. And a lot of these ones have become remarkable ant mimics also. So their bodies look like ant bodies. They have the narrow waist and the long legs and the bent antennae. And you think you're looking at an ant, but it's a beetle. And it turns out that this lineage, Rove beetles, have a special gland in their abdomen that's very adaptable, that can produce as it's evolved, it's allowed to produce different types of chemical compounds that can mimic ant pheromones. Or apparently, some of them can create like a toxic cocktail that renders ants defenseless, sort of like ant roofies, I guess.
No.
Okay. Sure.
Anyway,
Don't like that.
scientists think that this adaptable gland is what has let Rove beetles be so successful with this kind of ant focus that a lot of them have as a sort of a foot in the door. And then, they evolved to have their bodies be looking like ants after a certain amount of time. And
Well,
it's likely
the ones that felt less like termites and ants got destroyed.
yes, exactly.
I mean, natural selection.
That's the way it works, right?
Yep.
But it's likely this is also key to how this particular Rove beetle we've been talking about infiltrates the termite colony, because it's kind of a similar type of situation, the social insect. And as I was discussing about the huge number of beetles that exist at the beginning of the episode, it's worth noting that current estimates are that only about 20% maybe of insect species have been named by science, are known to science, which is
That's
just
so wild.
mind-boggling.
Yeah, I always tell kids, it's like if you want to get into like science and become a biologist and discover new species, man, insects, like there's still so many out there.
Oh yeah. Oh.
And
they're so cool.
They are. And, with the huge number of beetles already discovered, it's very likely that there are other species of Rove beetles that haven't been discovered that also mimic and cohabit and do other stuff with termites that we just simply don't know about yet, because they live underground and they're hard to spot. And, if you're looking at one of these colonies, there are a lot more termites than there are beetles. So they're hard to find, and they look just like a termite. So you're not necessarily even going to see it, even if you're looking at an ant colony or a termite colony or whatnot. So there are probably a lot more of them out there.
That's
Probably.
so cool.
That's so cool.
Yeah, I saw this one. I was like, oh my gosh, this is amazing. I have to share it. My sources this week were a blog post from Science, the journal Science, from September 2023 by Richard Pillardi about this beetle. Also, summer 2017, an article about Rove beetles from Columbia Magazine by David J. Craig, an article from 2025, January 2025, from Nautilus Magazine by Dina Musa, and a very helpful article from the Annual Review of Entomology in 2018 by Nigel Eastort called "How Many Species of Insects and Other Terrestrial Arthropods Are There on Earth?" Very good work.
Wild.
Nigel.
Good job.
And a little bit of background information from Wikipedia.
Excellent. Thank you.
Yeah, that's all we have this week, folks. That's it.
Thanks, everyone.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Bye.
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 Thanks everyone for listening to today's show. Be sure to subscribe. New episodes drop every Wednesday, and we love sharing this strange world with all our listeners. If you would be so kind as to leave us a 5-star rating and review wherever you get your podcasts, that would be great. It lets other lovers of the strange discover the show. You can reach us by searching for Strange by Nature Podcast on Instagram, Facebook, and Blue Sky. You can send us an email as well. Our address is contact@strangebynaturepodcast.com. If you want more information about the show, you can check out our website, strangebynaturepodcast.com, and you can support the show and get ad-free episodes at patreon.com/strangebynature. Until next week, get outside, stay curious, and embrace the strange.